This is ABC15 Mornings.
An amazing rescue caught on camera. Local firefighters now urging those enjoying the holiday weekend to really focus on safety after this shocking accident.
Plus, many heading out for their first road trip in months, but these are some times where there are some restrictions in place because we want to prevent wildfires.
Plus, one of the biggest holiday weekends of the year is off to a historically slower start. All 50 states letting up on some COVID-19 rules as Americans get ready to celebrate 6 feet apart. We say good morning to you. Kicking off this Memorial Day weekend on this Saturday, I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Mark Thompson, social distancing from home, and I'm going to be working Memorial Day weekend, so not really getting out and about, but I know there are a lot of people hitting the roads because they've been stuck inside for so many weeks now. They want to just get out and just see the world a little bit, Nohe.
Yeah, definitely. We're just starting to warm up here in the valley, and more people are opening up their cabins and their hotels up in the high country. So people are darting there real quick. So here's what you can expect as you step out the door this morning. It's pretty comfortable out there. We've got some high thin clouds, but those will clear out through the rest of the day, and we will stay dry. Temperatures right now in the upper 60s in Chandler and Mesa, low 70s in Phoenix, Glendale, and Goodyear. Today we'll warm up though. We are going to be in the 90s, 93 degrees, no chances for rain, and we're getting warmer each day through this holiday weekend. That also means that our fire danger is going up, and you need to be mindful of that, especially if you're hitting the road and heading to the high country. So we're going to talk about that wildfire danger and the forecast that you can expect if you are looking for some relief from the heat up there. That's coming up in just a few moments.
All right, Nohe, thank you. Well, trapped in a mine shaft for more than an hour Friday night, a 17-year-old boy is really lucky to be alive this morning. Rescuers say that he fell more than 50 feet and he was pinned by a four-wheeler in that shaft. The teen was riding his quad or four-wheeler, and this was near New River Road and Linda. He took a turn and then accidentally drove into the massive hole there. More than 30 fire units showed up to help the Phoenix Technical Rescue Team lower it down to flip that four-wheeler over and off of the teen and pull the teenager out. That teen was immediately airlifted to Phoenix Children's Hospital.
It was an accident that he had made a turn and he just kind of tumbled in there. And as I said, the entrance to the mine shaft is very steep. It sounds like he's very fortunate tonight.
Wow, firefighters urging everyone to focus on safety this holiday weekend, and please wear a helmet or a life jacket depending on what you're going to be doing, and don't drink before boating or driving.
You know, falling down a mine shaft you don't really think of, but actually abandoned mines in Arizona are a real concern. They're located all across the state, in fact. You might remember back in 2018, a man survived being trapped more than 48 hours after falling down a mine shaft that was filled with rattlesnakes. That happened west of Wickenburg. In fact, we have an estimated 100,000 abandoned mines in Arizona. That's according to the state's mine inspector's office. And only about a fifth of those have actually been found. Not even all of the discovered ones are secured or filled. The problem is the inspector's office only has a few certified people who are able to go out looking for them.
Horror at Westgate, a man accused of shooting 3 people this week at a popular entertainment district, and now we're learning a little bit more about the weapon used in that attack. According to the ATF, Armando Hernandez, he bought the AR-15 style rifle legally here in Arizona, but it's unclear when or where he made that purchase. Now, Hernandez later telling officers that he was bullied in the past. This is what he's saying as part of a motive here, and he wanted some respect. Now, all of those victims did survive. However, one is in a very serious condition this morning.
He's the man in charge of handling Arizona's unemployment claims, and ABC15 has confirmed Tom Betlak is leaving his post as head of DES. His office saying that he's going to return to private life, where he was retired once his original 75-day commitment ends. That is slated to be June 3rd. Governor Ducey praising Betlak, who has rarely spoken in public during this pandemic, while acknowledging the issues plaguing the department's response.
And that news coming at a time when frustrations, they are far from over. A lot of people They are trying to access those unemployment benefits, but it sure hasn't been easy. And now we're learning of a real head scratcher here. Why would anyone want to do this? Several viewers reaching out to us and saying when they called the DES hotline for help and finally got through to a real person, they were told to call a different 888 number. But the problem is that number took them to someplace out of state.
Here comes along an automated recording. Welcome to the state of Pennsylvania Unemployment Office. I'm like, what?
Pennsylvania, and she's not the only one who was given that bad number. A spokesperson for DES saying that they were aware of these reports, and they said that that number should never have been given out, and it's unclear why it was. They apologize for any confusion, but that doesn't fix the fact that some people, they are still back at square one, having to start over with that process of trying to call in and get somebody to help when they need it.
So many stories of frustration. Now, as we move forward, navigating the unemployment system and the future of Arizona schools, there are two questions that we get the most here at the station. Right now, an update on the education front. The state's Department of Ed telling us that they will release guidance for districts on June 1st. And that could include anything from social distancing protocols to updated timelines for classes and activities. So we're certainly going to keep you posted as soon as we hear their plan.
Well, you know, this Memorial Day weekend, most all 50 states, they are easing some restrictions as people head out for the holiday. But they want to keep people still safe from the coronavirus at the same time. At least one opening has already had a tragic beginning or ending, however you want to look at it. ABC's Karina Mitchell has that story.
This Memorial Day weekend, a nation quickly approaching 100,000 coronavirus deaths, casting a grim shadow on a normally massive travel weekend. Roads and skies dramatically empty. Outdoor spaces like this one at San Francisco Dolores Park marked with circles to encourage social distancing. In California, beaches will be open, but with some new additions, including bike path and parking lot access. In New York's Rockaway Beach, one man dead after drowning in closed-off waters.
As you can see on the beach here, the flags are up. There are no lifeguards. The beaches remain closed.
Other beaches along the East Coast making major changes because of the pandemic. A Virginia woman wearing a mask as she gets in the water. In Massachusetts, many wearing masks when social distancing isn't possible.
I'm so happy. I love it. I'm so happy I'm out of the house.
And in South Florida, Miami-Dade County and the city of Miami Beach voting to open beaches and hotels on June 1st. On Friday, President Trump pushing for even more openings, calling places of worship essential, demanding governors open them immediately, threatening to override them if they don't, as a number of legal experts weigh in on the president's authority to do so.
The governors need to do the right thing and allow these very important essential places of faith to open right now for this weekend.
The president's comments coming just a few days after Mississippi's Holy Springs Church sued the city to lift restrictions on services. It was burned with vandals, leaving this graffitied note on the parking lot: "Bet you stay home now, you hypocrites." The CDC releasing guidelines for returning to places of worship, encouraging face mask use, cleaning surfaces daily, and encouraging social distancing. They're also recommending ending choir ensembles or singing, which could spread the disease through the air. And while the reopening on this unofficial kickoff of summer is much slower than some people hoped,
I think logically people will venture gingerly out and do local things before they get on an airplane.
there is a silver lining for folks heading out for a road trip. Gas prices are at historic lows. In some places, $1.50 a gallon. The national average, $1.94. Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
Now 6:09 on this Saturday morning, we've got to talk about that wildfire danger wherever you are this weekend, especially if you're in the high country, though, or across southern Arizona. You've got to be extra careful. Make sure you're not pulling your car onto dry grass. There's a lot of dry brush out there. And we have higher winds, so our risk is higher for fire danger. Humidity is low, so that really increases the risk. And we still have warm temperatures throughout the weekend. Of course, across the high country, country is where we're really watching that wildfire forecast. It's going to be breeziest in the Flagstaff area with a high of 67. It's going to be comfortable up there. Sedona and Payson in the upper 70s and low 80s. Actually a gorgeous forecast, and you can expect to see a lot more crowds as you're out and about. So be mindful of one another and make sure that if you're hiking on our trails out there across Arizona, what you pack in, make sure that's what you pack out. I'm going to have a look at the rest of the Valley forecast if you're staying close to home on this holiday weekend. That's coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Nohe, thank you. Also coming up this Memorial Day weekend, local hotels, they are taking a big hit, and they're now relying on staycations just to stay afloat.
Also, speaking of wildfires, people are the biggest issue when it comes to starting that spark across the valley. We will show you the restrictions in place this holiday weekend before you hit the road. And also a live view out from our South Mountain camera this morning. It's a gorgeous start to the day. We really want you to enjoy it. And we thank you for starting it off with us this morning.
Welcome back, everybody, and it is a holiday weekend, and for many, this is the first time in months that they've been able to get out and take a family trip. However, this is a time where we are really seeing a lot of wildfires. In fact, we're seeing them daily, so you want to take precautions as you head out the door. In fact, crews, they're going to be out this weekend trying to keep those fires in check. The most common cause for these fires is us, people. This year, officials say that we're not only seeing more fires, we're seeing larger ones. Last May, Arizona clocked just over 400 fires statewide. Already this year, we're close to 500, some forcing evacuations and burning more than 1,000 acres of land.
We were fortunate that these fires did happen kind of when we were seeing our cool spell. But if we were 2 weeks in right now and we're going to see those temperatures next week, maybe hitting 110, we could have easily had those fires double in size.
And there are a lot of restrictions in place for this weekend throughout the state. No camping, target shooting, or fireworks allowed, hoping to prevent major wildfires. Experts say know before you go. Make sure that you check online for any tips and restrictions for whatever activity you're going to be doing before you hit the road. Last thing you want to do is have a big camping trip planned. You get out there and you find out, well, I can't get in, so really got to plan ahead, Nohe.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's any indicator, I mean, you've seen how active it has been so close to the valley and even in the valley with wildfires just in the last week. And that is not something that we typically see around here. They usually stay up to the north. So our wildfire danger is going to be on the rise again today because we've got breezy conditions in store. So starting around noon, that fire danger starts to increase in northeastern Arizona and off across southern Arizona. It really starts to peak through those peak heat hours of the day, so through 5 o'clock, and that wildfire danger becomes more widespread across northern Arizona and a bigger section of southeastern Arizona, and we're in the upper to high moderate range for wildfires. Then tomorrow around 2 o'clock, we start to see areas just south of Globe and east of Casa Grande, and also in our far northeastern corner start to pick up that wildfire danger, becoming more widespread again across the state and out west as we move through the 6 o'clock hour. So again, to that peak heat of the day. Winds certainly fueling that fire danger. Here in the valley, it's going to be breezy. I need to drop that down because it's about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Across northern Arizona, we'll see gustier conditions, gusts up to 25 miles an hour, especially in areas like Flagstaff. Our temperatures right now, nice and mild up in Flagstaff. You're sitting in the low 40s, low 50s in Sholo. Payson, a chilly little start for anybody who's waking up there this morning, in the upper 40s for you. So you're going to need a nice pair of sweats as you step out the door. We're in the 70s along our western border and low 60s across southern Arizona. Here in the valley, we're in the mid to upper 60s across much of the valley. Really nice temperatures in Gilbert right now at 63. Same in Queen Creek. We're sitting in the upper 60s in Tempe and Scottsdale, and out in Surprise and Wickenburg, we're in the low to mid 60s right now. So here's how we warm up as we move through the afternoon. After 7 o'clock, we start to warm into the 70s, and we're going to stay there through about that 9 o'clock hour. By 10, we're at 82 degrees, and just in time for lunch, we're in the upper 80s, so still not so bad. 87 87 degrees at lunchtime definitely means that you can take that picnic outside. Valley highs today, not going to get too much higher than that. We're looking at 92 in Peoria and Glendale, 94 in Ahwatukee, Tempe and Mesa, 95 in Chandler and Maricopa, Anthem and Cave Creek staying in the upper 80s, almost 10 degrees below the average for this time of year, which should be 97. Temperatures across the state, if you're headed to the high country, roll those windows down when you get there. It's going to be gorgeous. Upper 70s in Sedona, mid 70s in Prescott and Payson, 73 the high in Show Low, 81 in Winslow and Page, 60s in Flagstaff, and then we will be warmer along our western border in the low 90s and same temperatures across the southern portion of our state. If you are up in Flagstaff or heading there for the holiday weekend, breeziest conditions today and then warming tomorrow into the low 70s and staying that way through Memorial Day. By Tuesday, you're in the upper 70s, so you know it's getting warmer when Flagstaff is warming close to 80 degrees. Here in the valley, we stay breezy through the weekend. Our temperatures stay in the low to mid 90s. On Memorial Day, it is going to be pretty toasty. We're getting closer to triple digits, but hopefully we fall just below. And then by Tuesday, the hundreds are back. 104 is that forecast high for Tuesday with sunny, dry conditions as we move toward the middle of the week. And then we've got big changes on the way in the forecast. We're looking already at some heat alerts in effect for the valley and along the western portion of our state. So we're going to go over that coming up in that 7-day forecast in just a little bit this morning, Mark.
All right, no, hey, thank you. It's 6:18 now on your Saturday morning, and coming up, it has been a tough and uncertain year for college graduates. So what will their job hunt look like? And also how Chandler is supporting their restaurants during this normally busy time of year. That's coming up.
The class of 2020 is entering an unprecedented workforce right now. Unemployment is skyrocketing, and it may change the career path that they had planned. So Karen Stafford is the president of the Employers Council, joining us this morning to talk a little bit about this and how we move forward from here. Thanks so much, Karen, for joining us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So these are different times. I know 2020 graduates, they missed out on their graduation to begin with, but they've got their degree. So now it's time to enter the workforce, but that might look a little different than they had planned. So where should they be starting?
So there's job sites, right? Go out to all of the job sites and look for companies that you want to work for. So doing your homework and your research, while it may not be the job that you were hoping for at that organization, it's a great chance to just see what's available in that organization and pursue positions that you can get hired for right now as a way to get on into that company.
Yeah, get that foot in the door. Certainly, as we're doing now and we're doing things remotely still, is that something that maybe people should be factoring into being part of their regular employment when they do get a job?
It certainly sounds like it. We're hearing a lot from employers that, you know, the way of the workplace is maybe going to look more like a hybrid situation. We've figured it out for the most part, how to work from home. And so jobs may not need to rush back into the office and be 100% back in the office. It may be more of a little bit in, a little bit at home, or at home completely.
I guess this is something too that you've sort of developed new skills in this way. So you're saying, check out your resume and maybe it's time to change what that looks like a little bit too.
Oh, for sure. You definitely want to highlight if you have been doing any projects or any work in an online format, making sure you're highlighting that. How you present online matters. As a matter of fact, even if you're sitting in a meeting, aren't you really presenting to the rest of the participants? And so highlighting those skills will translate into everyday tasks as well.
I think certainly a lot of employers are going to be wondering, what did you do with your time, you know, during this time? And you couldn't finish school in a traditional way, but you did it. But what did you do with it? What if the job market you're looking at, you were planning on going into a certain field, and right now those jobs just don't seem to be there? What's your best advice for those graduates?
So my best advice is to not give up. Do not give up on where you're hoping to eventually find a position. Continue to look for opportunities that allow you a chance to develop skills so that you can highlight those. Those will help you stand out as the market loosens up and becomes more kind of employee friendly in terms of opportunities being available. And it will make a difference in the eyes of employers, at least in my eyes as an employer. What did you do during this time? Did you go out and seek opportunities, or wait and maybe chalk it up to, a rough economy, which it certainly is, understandably so. But yet those who stand out are those who were enterprising about it and saying, I've got my degree here, I'm ready to put it to work. And maybe I do that in showing you my teamwork skills. And while that may be at a distribution center or in a customer-facing, essential worker kind of position right now, if that's not your ultimate goal, it shows that your willingness to show your skills and to be a part of, the economy opening back up, that'll make a difference in the eyes of employers.
And I think if we have learned one thing from the class of 2020, it is that they are creative and they are resilient, unlike any other class of graduates that we've possibly seen before.
Oh, for sure. And letting that shine through and showing how you're doing that, and even if it's in volunteer work right now, those are critical skills that you could be showing off that could lead you to a position in that organization. All of those types of organizations that are hiring right now in logistics and supply chain that you maybe never thought you'd get involved with, they have marketing departments and, accounting functions and HR functions, IT functions as well. So it's a great opportunity to try and shine right now.
Yeah, the living world of internships happening right now. Karen Staffold from the Employers Council. Karen, always great to talk with you and definitely providing some hope for all of those graduates. So we certainly appreciate that.
Oh, definitely. Go out there. Do not give up. Keep looking and put those skills to work as soon as you can. It'll make the difference.
All right, no, hey, thank you. Well, still ahead, yet another weekend is here with the goal to test as many people as possible who are experiencing coronavirus symptoms. Also, it's normally a busy travel day for folks in the Valley. We'll check in on the traffic that is headed out of town. That's on the other side of this break.